We'll go. Okay, we are in for a little bit of a treat now as I invite and introduce my next special guest onto my segment. Welcome to the syndicated program here in the United Kingdom. Randie O'Neil joining me. First, I always ask this question, but how are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, that's amazing. It's great to have you on board. And just for the benefit of me and more crucially my listeners, where are you where are you in the world currently?
I am across the pond in Pennsylvania, um, outside, I'm north of Philadelphia, right outside of Bethlehem.
Amazing. How wonderful. And Bethlehem, that's an ideal name because with this time of year, Christmas, we hear Christmas songs and you are promoting a Christmas single yourself.
I have to tell you, Bethlehem, this town does it up. First of all, it's a music town. Music Fest during the summer is like none other. They block off a couple miles of Bethlehem and have like 10 stages going at once. It's the largest free festival like in the country here. It's huge. And then for Christmas, they have Kindle Mart, tours, light tours. It's just an amazing place to be.
Sounds good. As well, Pennsylvania as well. Some of your musical exports, are unbeatable.
Yes, yes. Between that, I was living in New Jersey for a while. There's some real talent in the area.
That's good. It's good that it's still flourishing as well.
Well, it's the music business. I don't know
Yeah.
about flourishing, but we're doing our thing.
Yeah. So where I was gonna say my next question for you was being a singer or a musician, just being on stage, was that something that you always wanted to do?
Always, always, always. Um, but it's been a struggle for me. My parents were alcoholics and they did not support the arts at all. So they sold my guitars, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sing, so it's just, been this passion inside of me that I used, became therapy for a while. Um, but it's definitely just been this desire for a long, long time.
That's understandable. With the music industry, you do get your challenges. That's not unheard of.
No.
So, as I mentioned just before on the outset of the interview, coming to the year now where we start thinking about playing like festive music, Christmas carols, Christmas music, celebrating. Um, and your single is called What Do You Say, Santa? Can you just tell me a little bit more about this single?
Well, it's interesting in the business. You have to start your Christmas song in the middle of summer if you're going to release it on time. So there it is. We're in the middle of a heat wave, and I'm like, I have to write about Christmas. And the first thing I think about is Elf on the Shelf, which I think is a very scary, spooky concept to have these little minions watching you all the time. And then it occurred to me that adults, like, you go to a lot of parties and you're celebrating the holiday, and I'm like, how many adults could really live up to the scrutiny of an elf on a shelf and make it onto a nice list, you know? So that's kind of where the concept of the song, somebody at a party, they're having a lot of fun, flirting with Santa, and they're like, oh, wow, am I going to wind up on the naughty list? What do you say, Santa?
And you mentioned, recording this in the summer. That was actually one of my next questions for you. When Australians release Christmas records, they have it the opposite way around because in their summer's winter.
Right, right, right. So
I do,
they're in winter and they have to write a summer song, and their winters are a lot warm. Their Christmases are a lot warmer.
yeah, that's right. I've always
No.
wanted to ask that question. I do find it interesting how you have to record music way before their release date.
As a singer songwriter, it's empowering when you can write from prompts, when you don't have to wait for someone to break up with you to actually write a song. It is kind of always the next step in evolution of a songwriter to be
Hmm.
able to do that, to say, okay, it's COVID, I'm doing absolutely nothing. What can I write a song about? And kind of turning things around. And I really, love it that I can evolve to that point and say, okay, it's summer, I got to write a Christmas song.
That's good. The next question I'm going to ask you, in this song, What Do You Say, Santa? I hear, in my opinion, influences of folk Americana. And would that be a good analogy or observation, would you say?
Yeah, I get that a lot in a lot of my music. It's very grounded in folk and roots. But this is really upbeat. And we were actually listening to some swamp country with the lead guitar in that. We kind of swamped it out a little bit for the vibe that we had. But there's definitely those influences that are there.
Yes, I'm sure this song as well, when you press play on the streaming platforms, you want it to instantly connect, with your mind, strike a chord, and this song does that.
I hope it's kind of catchy. I know for me,
Yes,
I wake up with it in my head quite frequently, and I'm like, I guess that's a good thing,
yeah,
that it's kind of this earworm that gets
earworm.
stuck there, especially for the holidays.
That's good stuff. And if you had an opportunity to make a music video for this, would you consider it
To make a music.
like a music video or music promo?
Oh, it is. I do have a video that goes with this.
Amazing.
And it's going to come out December 1st. This is the first time because I love making videos. I mean, I'm a real ham. It's like my inner child when I'm doing video. But for this one, I decided to do like an adult animated sequence. So there's this avatar that kind of looks like me 20 years ago
Yeah.
in bombshell mode at a party flirting with Santa, and there's elves and dancing elves, and it is really, really cool. I'm really thrilled how this came out.
We look forward to that. And I know making music video these days are very costly. So that's a good way of keeping your budget down as well, without having to like shoot on location and everything and all.
Right, right. I have some good friends that I have Artist Edge Collective, my partners. Um, we do a lot of retreats, and they're focused on songwriting. We do branding and things like that. So our retreats, we do a lot of video, and it's really a cool time. We did 5 in Costa Rica the last time we were there. So, but we focus on classes for people. You could actually take one of our online class for next to nothing and learn how to brand yourself, get gigs, level up your songwriting. But we also do retreats where we can kind of help people go to the next level with
Yeah.
things. So
That's
it's kind
handy to have like connections. And with this website, would you just like to share it with my listeners or where they can find it? This website where like it offers advice or guidance.
well for guided artistedgecollective.com is my professional website. I'm at randiooneil.com. So you can find us
Yeah.
there. If you have any questions, you can go there.
And I just see it on your logo there on the top left, the Artist Edge Collective. People can just find you via that.
Find me. I'm everywhere,
Yeah,
bathroom walls, bus stops.
yeah. And I like the part musical development. I think that's really important. As an artist, you got talent, but that talent is raw, but it can be developed on. That's so essential because some of the best artists have had to go through that process.
Oh, they all do. And it's a step people want to avoid. Oh, I want a record deal. I want that. Nobody's getting record deals these days. And if you do, there's no artist development. They want you developed,
Mm,
and people are kind of skipping branding. They're really not fine tuning their songs like the way they should. They want to put out an album. No, put out 2 or 3 songs, put a lot into them, and you want to be competitive with what's out there.
mm.
You
And not
know,
just singers and vocalists, but artist development can apply to like DJs, dancers, and musicians, instrumentalists as well.
absolutely, absolutely. It's a lot of talent out there, and I don't compete with my artists. I don't. I want to be competitive with them.
Hmm, hmm.
I want my sound to be competitive, branding across platforms. I want things to carry over.
Yeah,
That way, hopefully, you get gigs.
yeah.
And you follow through.
Very true.
So
It's good to stay in your own lane, but a little bit of competitiveness, if there's such a word, competitivity, I suppose is healthy to some extent.
to some extent.
to
To
some
some
extent.
extent. But I think indie artists have learned that they're better when they stick together and
Yes.
share resources that are expensive individually,
Yeah.
you know?
We need more of that these days, more than ever, don't we?
Yes, we do. We
And
do.
when you're writing or songwriting, would you say you're a bit of a storyteller in your music?
That's why my stuff comes out folk and country because of my imagery and the stories that I tell. And I always like to have a message, even if it's kind of funny message. I like my songs to say something and have a meaning, to resonate with
Yeah.
people.
And where or how do you get your creativity or concepts from when you're writing lyrics or songwriting or composing?
Again, when I first started out, it was like, oh, I broke up. I'm going to write this song. A Woman I Am, my first album was affectionately called the Don't Date Your Neighbor series. Every song was about that breakup, and it was horrible. You live next to this person, but I eventually evolved as a songwriter to the point where one of the best selling songs I had in New Zealand, the number one requested song, was Sinners and Saints from a Prompt, a song I didn't want to write. But I wrote it and it was really empowering to know, hey, I can just write a story around it and you edit it better because it's not so meaningful, put more time into it. And my Roomba just came into the room and was making all kinds of noise. Sorry.
No worries. And just moving on, it's good that your music's reaching all across the globe, though. It's good to hear.
I know I had bad advice. I had an indie label years ago, and they were like, Randie, there's no market for you internationally. So when they dumped me during COVID, I was like, I was crying. I was upset. And I'm
Mm,
like, hell with you. My attorney's like, put it out. And I did. I learned from modern musicians how to market. And it was bigger internationally than it ever had been in the States. I mean, in New Zealand, I mean, they were having 4 requests an hour for Sinners and Saints. It
yeah,
was amazing.
yeah,
So I learned the power of, strong marketing and finding the right market.
yeah. It's like here in the UK, we're such a small island, really, and people just seem to concentrate on UK market. But when you think of the world, it's a massive stage, humongous.
That is so true. And even like the country music and Americana music, it's all over the place. It's in Canada. They're strong in the UK and New Zealand. There's pockets in Spain. It's a matter of finding your audience,
Yeah.
and that's not always an easy thing to do. But you fine tune things and you learn how to, pick your radio stations and find wonderful people like
Oh,
you.
thank you. And Irish music as well from from Ireland, Dublin, incorporates a lot of folk and country influences. Has Irish music, has that um influenced you as well in a way?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I actually watch a lot of Brit Irish too over here and always love the soundtracks and the music that goes with it. And a lot of the folk community, it's interesting. There's folk communities here that have a lot of Irish influence in them, the Celtic influence.
Mm.
So again, it's true roots, it's good storytelling, and it tends to be a little bit more upbeat than American roots.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, great. So just talked about your Christmas single. I just wanted to touch on a few other singles you've released from your
Okay.
discography of the past. Just looking at your back catalogue, you released a song, if I'm stand correct or sit correct, 2022 called The Queen of the Bar Stool, the two step. What's the story behind this one?
It was a COVID song. And I got dumped at the beginning of COVID. And I'm like, when a girl gets dumped, they put on their makeup, they put on their best jeans, and you pretend you're okay. You go out into town and you're the queen of the bar stool two step. I couldn't do that. So I wrote a song about it. And to date, that is my biggest hit to date, Queen of the Barstool Two Step.
Incredible. Also, 2023, you dropped a song called Don't Tell Mama or Mama, available to listen on all streaming platforms. That has a kind of rockabilly feel to it. Was the recording process of doing this track fun? and the recording process, having fun. Was it a fun experience?
It was a riot because the way this song came about, I do a counseling of troubled youth. And this one tough girl, man, she was hardcore. She was Ukrainian, tough as nails. One day she comes in my office, she's bawling. Distraught. And I'm like, what happened? You got arrested? What? She's like, no, my mom caught me. And I had to do everything I could not to laugh because I don't care how tough you are. The last thing you want is your mama catching you doing something you don't want to do. And I went home that night and I wrote, don't tell mama, because I still have secrets from my mama that I never want her to know.
Yeah.
And I knew it had to be fun. The video was done at my sister's farm. We have kids just running in and out of cornfields, and we just had a good old time with it. It was really a lot of fun.
And then, like joking aside, it could be a song about keeping mom, literally.
Right. Right.
And the next question coming up, do you enjoy doing cover versions? They seem to be quite popular at the moment, putting your own stamp on a song.
I do. I do. In fact, I want to do a Pat Benatar, maybe Promises in the Dark. I might record it. When I do live shows, I definitely do a lot of covers. Nobody really notices I do a lot of girl covers because guys do all their covers. I'm trying to really stay true to women that need to stick together. And I do a lot of girls. Nobody has ever called me on it and said, "Oh, you only play girl stuff." They're like, "Oh, that's a great song. I haven't heard that in a while." I get that, which I really like.
Sure. What do you enjoy about being an independent artist? If I understand, you are an independent artist.
I am, and I've tried indie labels, and you think they're the answer, but as an indie artist, you can be your own answer. You can market, you can brand, you can find your audience, and there's not a lot of money streaming, but you get to keep what you sow, in reward. I'm still fighting for money from this one company that I was working with. So there's strategy to it. It's a lot. There are a lot of balls in the air at any given time. So many platforms to be watching, but you put good teams together and you're not alone in the business.
Cool. Good answer. Who have been your influences and inspirations over the years? I know you mentioned Pat Benatar as a name drop there.
All the women who came before me, because I don't think people understand how hard it is for a woman in the business. The things you go through. I mean, if you look at any festival, how many women to men are booked? I'm from a generation where you didn't hear two chick songs in an hour, never back to back. So the women who hung in there and fought the good fight, the Joan Jetts, the Pat Benatars, the Pretenders, all of those who came before really were breaking the ice and making it more acceptable that women can be in the field.
I know here in Birmingham, we had a group called the Dixie Chicks. I think they're an all-powerful female country group as well, very popular. Sold out, they did.
Yeah. They made some political statements and actually fell out of favor for a while, but they're a force, a female band.
And
had a great sound.
Yeah, sure. With like what you're saying, at the moment, it's good to see, more females breaking through, more women. But would you say there's still a long way to go?
Still a long way to go.
Okay.
You're seeing more producers, you're seeing more industry people, behind the scenes people directing things. And I try to utilize that as much as possible, but we make strides and we go back. We make strides and go back.
Yeah.
I know the pop radio is dominated right now by female artists, Taylor Swift, Beyonce. They're the ones making money in the industry. So good for them.
Yeah. I know with Chapel Roan as well and Sabrina Washington, they come out of nowhere, even though their careers were like about 10 years ago, they've really come to prominence now.
Right. Liza, I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, country music. There's a lot of women in the forefront. I think we still stereotype country music women, how they should look and dress. And I think we're slowly breaking through that.
Sure. And if there was a moment in your career you could relive, what would that be? Or do you think there's still the best to come?
I think I'm evolving as an artist. There are some choices that I think I would redo or take back, mostly with marketing and aligning myself. But I think I'm evolving, and I think I'm just open to new possibilities, and I think that's only helped me as a
Mm,
songwriter,
mm.
you
And of
know,
course, like with musical development, stepping stones, like, it's a gradual process.
absolutely.
Cool. And any shout outs or dedications you may like to make to your family, friends, or followers at all?
I love my fans. I really do. Follow me, like me. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. But I really do. I have a fan page on Facebook, the Lost But Not Broken Club, and where the Wolf Pack, because my band is the Werewolves of Summer, my backing band.
Hmm.
So look for us. But I really do love meeting my fans all the time, and I'm blessed for everyone who follows me.
Hmm. And what's that feeling like when you get like positive feedback, from your friends and followers and so on?
You get these, a lot of stuff is happening digitally, streaming, and so you get these little nuggets every now and then where somebody will say something to you and you're like, wow, I had no idea. Like I have a song, Olivia, which is a murder ballad about domestic violence because it's real. And a fellow artist came up to me and they're like, I listened to that song over and over, and it inspired me to stand up to the person who had been abusing me, and she's filing charges.
Hmm.
And I'm like, wow, it blew me away. And I've been carrying that. You don't know what songs are impacting.
Hmm. Wow, that's powerful. When that happens, the connection of a song between the singer and the artist.
Right,
And
right.
final question I wanted to ask for you as well. You mentioned that people can follow you, Randie O'Neil, on social media, emailing lists, and streaming platforms. And the final question I wanted to ask, can you just tell me one interesting fun fact about yourself?
Fun fact. I love to surf.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant.
I love to surf and I love horror movies. Not in the same category, but yeah, people that know me, I don't do it as much as I really want to. I'm landlocked here in Pennsylvania, but any chance I get, I love to surf. And Halloween is the best holiday ever. Horror movies galore during October. So,
It's a good time of the year with the leaves as well, very colourful. And my birthday's in November as well, so I'm slightly biased.
yeah.
Right then, without further ado, should we get you a new single out onto my radio show? Just got time to give it a little spin. Would you like to introduce it on?
Okay, I'm here with DJ Jenny's son. This is the song, What Do You Say, Santa? And I have to tell you, with all those elves watching, when you're going to parties, you have to ask the question, are you on the naughty or nice list, Santa? What do you
Well,
say?
Randy O'Neill, thank you very much for joining me today. Thanks for your company and thanks for another cracking interview.
Thanks for having me. Oh,